The photo hit me like a sucker punch. No warning, no build-up. Just me, scrolling through Facebook on a quiet Saturday morning, still in my robe, watering the lawn like I'd done every weekend for 27 years. The sun was barely awake. Behind me, the coffee machine hissed like nothing was out of place. For a brief second, everything felt normal, safe, routine. Then my phone buzzed. Natalie. Well, not her exactly. A Facebook notification. A picture. She was in Dallas, supposedly at a sales conference. There she was, standing next to Colin, the office's golden retriever in human form, all smiles and zero backbone. He had one arm slung over her shoulder and the other holding two drinks like they were in some romantic ad. Her head was tilted toward him, her hand resting on his chest, like they'd just announced their engagement. The caption read, "My real partner Red Heart #WorkHusbandForLife." 57 likes. 16 comments. All nauseating. Love you guys. Office goals. Finally, just make it official already faced with tears of joy. I stared at the photo. Read it again. The first time, I actually laughed. That dry, breathless laugh that gets stuck halfway in your throat, like your body knows better than to waste air on something like this. I didn't call her. I didn't text. Didn't scream. Didn't cry. I just walked inside, poured the last of the coffee, opened the kitchen drawer, and pulled out the beige folder I'd prepped 3 weeks ago. Not because I was expecting this. No, I had some pride left back then. But after overhearing her late one night, giggling on speakerphone with Colin in the guest bathroom, whispering, if only things were different, I started collecting receipts. Emotional ones first, then legal. That folder had everything. Petition, financial disclosures, property division sheets. My lawyer called it clean and aggressive. I slid it onto the kitchen table like a dealer laying down the final card. Then I opened Facebook. Her post was still live. Of course it was. So, I typed, congratulations. Divorce papers are on the kitchen table. Then I hit post. Logged out. Walked back outside and turned on the sprinkler. The water hissed like nothing had changed, but everything tasted different, like burnt coffee and pennies. And hey, if you're reading this and you're one of the 98% watching without hitting subscribe, do me a favor and click it. Keeps the crew motivated to serve more cold, slow burn justice. Thanks. Back inside, the silence had weight. It filled the house like a storm you could hear breathing. She called that night, right on cue, like I knew she would. Probably after a friend texted, Natalie, check your Facebook. Her voice was too sweet, fake cheerful. That syrupy tone she uses when she's cornered but trying to sound innocent. Hey babe. She stretched the word out like a rubber band. I saw your little comment. You're not really mad, right? It was a joke. Everyone does that. It's an office thing. Work husband, work wife, just for laughs. I let her talk. Let her fill the silence with nervous giggles and excuses. It's incredible how much rope people give themselves when they don't realize they're already hanging. You totally took it wrong. She kept going. It's just Colin. You know him. He's harmless. God, you're being dramatic. When she finally came up for air, I said 3 words. Check the kitchen. Dead quiet for 2 beats. Then laughter. High-pitched, fake. Oh my God, you're kidding. You didn't actually. I didn't respond. She laughed again, thinner this time, a waver creeping in. You're such a dork sometimes. Seriously, this is overreacting. It was just a dumb caption. Didn't mean anything. Sure. Just like she didn't mean anything when she called Colin at 11:37 p.m. on a Tuesday, whispering from the laundry room like a teenager sneaking a phone call. You looked so good in that gray shirt today. Stop it. I was blushing through the whole meeting. Imagine if we didn't have to keep things quiet. Yeah, real hilarious stuff. That was the night I called Victor, my lawyer. Told him we weren't at the iceberg yet, but I could see it on the radar. He told me to start collecting quietly. Emails, financial statements, insurance records. And when it hits, move fast. Trevor'd argue. Trevor'd engage. So that's what I did. No engagement. Just execution. Natalie thought my silence meant weakness. She thought no yelling equaled surrender. She was wrong. Some people don't roar before they strike. They prepare in silence, and when they move, it's already over. I ended the call with 4 words. Take care, Natalie. Then hung up. I imagined her standing in that kitchen, staring at the beige folder, blinking at the legal seal. No warning. No fight. Just the facts, like her little caption. Monday, 9:14 a.m. I logged into my burner Gmail, the one I used for Amazon returns back when we shared passwords. Took one last look at that screenshot before I attached it. Natalie draped over Colin, the caption glowing like a neon confession. My comment sitting just beneath it like a nail in the coffin. Subject line: inappropriate conduct? You decide. Attached the screenshot, complete with metadata showing it was posted during the Dallas conference. Wrote a neat, 2-sentence message. Not sure what your internal policies are, but this photo appears to have been taken during company time at a company event and involves a supervisor making public claims about a romantic relationship with a subordinate. I'll let you interpret. I didn't sign it. Didn't need to. Hit send. Close the laptop. No fanfare. No evil grin. Just the cold, mechanical click of a plan sliding into motion. Now, let me be clear. I didn't expect an immediate response. Corporate HR moves slower than a Sunday parade unless there's a legal wildfire burning under their feet. But Natalie? She bragged more than once. Usually with a glass of wine in hand and that smug smile about her spotless compliance record. That her company had a strict, zero-tolerance policy for undisclosed relationships in the office. Especially when power dynamics were involved. And Colin? Fresh promotion. Guess who trained him last year? Guess who sat on his damn promotion panel? That's right, Natalie. Even better, the company had just launched a shiny new branding campaign plastered everywhere. Integrity, excellence, respect. So when you publicly claim your real partner is the guy you're supervising, and you do it while clinking champagne glasses on a company-funded trip, you're not just breaking a rule. You're personally delivering your head to HR on a silver platter. And she didn't even realize it. I stepped back outside, trimmed the hedges. Birds chirped. The neighbor waved. Normal morning stuff. But under all that calm, something was already rumbling. A slow, bureaucratic avalanche. You don't hear it unless you're the one who pulled the pin. By noon, her Facebook post had vanished. By 3 p.m., I got a text from Trevor. Bro, HR just opened a case. Boom. That night, while she was probably sitting in some sterile hotel room drafting a limp apology email. Or worse, still thinking I'd overreacted, I sat at the kitchen table with a legal pad, a glass of scotch, and the checklist I'd been curating since the laundry room whisper call. Item 1. Move my 401k into the living trust I'd already set up. Victor walked me through it over lunch that felt more like a war council than a meeting. The trust? Bulletproof. No marital claims. No loopholes. She'd never see a dime. Item 2. Change the beneficiary on my life insurance. Used to be Natalie. Now, my sister, Sophie. She's practical, no nonsense, and already raised 2 kids on her own. She won't get sentimental. She'll sign, file, move on. Item 3. Bank accounts. We used to share everything. Her idea, romantic socialism, she called it. Cute, right? Now, different passwords, different banks, different zip codes. I left just enough in the joint account to cover 30 days, utilities, mortgage, and one final Hulu charge. She'll notice when it stops working. She'll text. Let her. Item 4. Credit cards. 2 accounts in my name with her as an authorized user. Not anymore. 1 phone call gone. She'll try to swipe for a glass of wine at the airport bar on her flight home and get hit with a cheerful decline. While I was dismantling the financial skeleton of our marriage, my phone buzzed. A text from her. Can we talk? I stared at it, then muted the thread. She still thought this was salvageable. That maybe, with the right tears, the right tone, we'd chalk it up to a misunderstanding. That we'd sit on the porch like some sitcom couple, talk it out, cry a little, then hug it out before the laugh track kicked in. But this wasn't a sitcom. This was chess. And while she was still fumbling her first pawn, I'd already moved the queen and flipped the board. Her insurance? Cancelled. Access to the car account? Gone. Gym membership? Already separated. Not out of spite. Out of design. Every signature, every password reset. It was the sound of beams being pulled from under the house she thought was solid. And the best part? She had no idea. She still believed, "I'm sorry," was going to fix this. Let her think that. The longer the bubble lasted, the sharper the pop would be. Trevor called just after lunch. I was in the garage, reorganizing a drawer that hadn't been touched since Obama was in office. Old screwdrivers, half-dead batteries, a pack of weather stripping. Busy work for a brain chewing on the fact that my marriage died courtesy of a hashtag. His voice was low, like he was whispering in a confessional. "Hey man," I knew that tone. It's what people use when they're about to confirm your worst suspicion, but secretly hope they're wrong. "She didn't just flirt, bro," he said. "They were acting way too close. Always together during the trip. Same table, same shuttle seat, never apart. Everyone saw it." I leaned against the workbench. Said nothing. Let him talk. I didn't want to assume the worst. But, man, come on. I asked the only question that mattered. "Does her boss know?" Pause. Then, "He does now. Word got back to him this morning. Dude looked like somebody told him his stock portfolio died. Said he had no idea she was sleeping with someone she evaluates." His words, not mine. And there it was, the missing puzzle piece. This wasn't just cheating. This wasn't just public humiliation. This was career suicide. Natalie didn't just nuke our marriage. She gift-wrapped a liability bomb and left it on her company's doorstep. Trevor wasn't done. "She's got an HR meeting scheduled for tomorrow. They already flagged the post. And get this, they pulled it from a company-issued device. Makes it 10 times worse. Oh, and dude, your comment? It's making the rounds." I laughed. First time in days. Short, sharp. We hung up. 10 minutes later, ping. Trevor again. "Check this." Screenshot. Her work inbox. He still had access. Years in IT will do that. Top message. Subject: HR compliance inquiry, urgent. From corporate ethics team. Date: 12:03 p.m. It started with the usual icy tone. "We've become aware of recent content shared online that may constitute a breach of professional standards during a company-sponsored event." Translation: "We're coming for your badge." And the kicker? She wasn't even home yet. By the time Natalie stepped off that plane, she wouldn't just be walking into a new reality. She'd be stepping straight into the wreckage of two worlds. And the sweetest part? I didn't even lift a finger. Just told the truth and let her own actions do the heavy lifting. She came back a day early. I knew she would. People delay coming home when comfort's waiting, when it's dread on the other end. They rush it, like proximity can fix what time already shattered. I was on the porch when the Uber rolled up. She climbed out in those ridiculous, oversized sunglasses that scream celebrity in crisis, dragging her carry-on like it owed her money. Phone in one hand, mid-sentence. "I just think we should talk in person now." She froze halfway up the walk. The front door didn't open. Tried the key again. Jiggled the lock. Knocked once. Twice. Like persistence was going to rewrite reality. I stayed seated, sipping water with a slice of lemon like I was watching clouds drift. "It's been changed," I said, flat as concrete. Her head snapped up. "What? Are you serious right now?" Voice low, eyes darting toward the neighbor's windows. "You changed the locks?" "No." I stood. "I changed the life." Her mouth opened, probably gearing up for some half-baked monologue about forgiveness, miscommunication, whatever, but I was already walking past her to my truck. Paused just long enough to say, "Guest room's open. Paperwork's on the bed. Everything's detailed." She stormed through the side gate, suitcase bouncing like artillery being dragged to the front line. In the rear view, I watched her disappear inside the guest house. Doors slamming, closets yanked open, probably expecting her stuff to still be hanging there like none of this happened. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Main bedroom, empty. Every trace of her, boxed, labeled, and stacked neatly in the guest closet. Her favorite throw blanket, gone. Trevorated. Not out of spite, out of sanitation. And on the guest bed, centered with surgical precision, sat that beige folder again. But this time, it wasn't just a petition. It was a map. One column, my assets. Second, hers. Third, the final division, calculated, signed, notarized. And in the corner, my signature, already inked. This wasn't just paperwork. This was the blueprint of everything she didn't own anymore. She didn't scream. Not right away. Just stood there, staring at the page like her brain was buffering. Hands shaking. Mouth slightly open, like the software didn't match the hardware anymore. The house she walked out of 4 days ago? Gone. This version? Mine. Every lock. Every passcode. Every drawer reorganized. Every memory scrubbed and replaced. She came home expecting a fight. Maybe even a tearful porch scene straight out of a Lifetime movie. What she got instead was logistics. And logistics don't love you back. Tuesday morning, she dressed for war like it was just another Tuesday. Cream blouse. Navy slacks. Modest heels. The necklace I gave her for our 20th. Maybe a subconscious olive branch. Maybe just habit. No breakfast. No words. Just the sound of the guest room door clicking shut and suitcase wheels bumping down the porch steps. She thought she was walking into a strategic alignment meeting. That's what the invite said. Neatly vague. Harmless corporate jargon. 9:30 a.m. Conference room B. Natalie showed up 5 minutes early. Clipboard in hand. Tight smile fixed like armor. She expected coffee, a projector, maybe a warm-up joke from Gordon, her boss. Instead, 3 chairs. 1. Gordon, looking like he just swallowed a lawsuit. 2. Monica from HR, face carved out of stone. 3. A woman Natalie didn't recognize, a legal rep in a black blazer, folder closed in front of her. Natalie hesitated at the door. Am I early? Monica's hand flicked toward the empty seat. Please sit. Natalie sat, crossed her legs, smoothed her skirt, that brittle smile still holding like cracked porcelain. Then the folder opened. On top, a printed screenshot of her Facebook post. Below, timestamped messages between her and Colin. Further down, high-resolution photos from the Dallas trip. 2 of them clearly off-site. One on a rooftop bar, another in what was undeniably a hotel room. Both in company attire, both during working hours. Gordon cleared his throat. Natalie, we've reviewed some material that was brought to our attention. Her mouth opened slightly. A sharp inhale. That moment when the heartbeat drowns out the room. This was a private joke, she whispered. Colin and I, we were just close friends. The legal rep tilted her head. Your messages suggest otherwise. And under the company's code of conduct, any romantic relationship with a subordinate must be disclosed, especially when a supervisory role exists. Natalie's eyes darted to Gordon. You knew we were close. We worked well together. I didn't know you were sleeping with him. Gordon snapped, voice cracking under pressure. And I had no idea you'd cross the line like that on a company trip we paid for. The color drained from her face. Hands gripped the chair like the room tilted sideways. Monica's tone was clinical. This meeting is part of an internal compliance review. Until it concludes, your access will be suspended and your duties reassigned. Then came the question, soft, almost pleading. Are you terminating me? The attorney didn't answer. Just stacked the papers, slid them back into the folder, and said, For now, we're conducting a full review of the incident. You'll be contacted with next steps. Natalie didn't move, didn't cry, didn't argue. She just sat there, silent. The look of someone who finally realized the punchline wasn't funny anymore. By noon, her name vanished from the company directory. Trevor messaged me one word. Locked. Her work email? Disabled. Laptop access? Gone. Keycard? Dead. The system chewed through her privileges like a shredder the second HR locked in. Natalie had spent years clawing her way up that corporate ladder, polishing her reputation until it shined like chrome. But all it took was a single caption, one sloppy night tangled with a subordinate, and a husband who knew exactly where to aim the strike. She didn't drive home. She bolted. Trevor told me later she left the building white as paper, stormed to her car without a word. No goodbyes. No little wave at the receptionist she used to butter up with compliments. The woman who once played the part of beloved senior manager now looked like a crime scene everyone wanted to avoid. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. They just watched her walk out like she was glowing radioactive. I heard her before I saw her. The crunch of gravel, the slam of the car door. Then her voice, sharp and slicing from the hallway. Really? You're just gonna ruin my career like this? I stayed in the den, calm as Sunday morning, flipping through a gardening catalog like she wasn't even in the house. She stormed in, eyes blazing, voice climbing like a fire alarm. One mistake, one stupid thing, and you go nuclear? Do you even know what they're doing to me right now? You think this is fair? I didn't answer. Just tapped my phone and played the message I'd recorded an hour ago. My voice, steady and precise. Please direct all communication through counsel. I will not be responding personally. Any further attempts will be documented. Her jaw hit the floor. For half a second, I thought she'd laugh again like before, but her face cracked instead. You recorded a message? Nothing from me. She tried again, voice trembling now. So this is it. You're just gonna, what? Freeze me out of my own life. Still silent. She stood there in the doorway, fists clenched so tight her knuckles blanched, shaking like a person who spent their whole life running the room and just discovered the room doesn't belong to them anymore. You think you're so damn smart, she hissed. Well, you've made your point. Congratulations. You win. She spun around, muttering under her breath as she stalked off, then stopped dead at the hall table. The mail. On top of the stack sat a plain white envelope stamped confidential, addressed to her, overnight from HR. She didn't open it. Didn't need to. Everything was already sliding through her fingers like wet sand. And for the first time, she knew there was no one left to pull her out. No boss to shield her. No assistant to cover her tracks. No husband to defend her. Just silence, the heavy kind that tastes like endings. And a house that wasn't hers anymore. The courtroom felt colder than a bank vault, bright lights making everything sharper than it needed to be. Too quiet. Natalie sat across from me at a polished oak table, her shoulders knotted, lips pulled into a tight, bloodless line. Her lawyer, a baby-faced partner from some boutique downtown firm, flipped through his binder like a gambler hoping for an ace that wasn't there. My side. Calm. Organized. Victor brought 2 folders, a yellow legal pad, and a cup of coffee. That was all we needed. No theatrics. No speeches. Just facts. The judge came in, sat down, and skimmed the packet Victor had labeled with blunt honesty. Timeline of marital breach and asset contribution. Her eyebrow arched halfway through page 1. Natalie's lawyer started his song and dance. Your Honor, we believe this matter can be resolved amicably. The judge cut him like a scalpel. The respondent's conduct appears to be the primary cause of dissolution. Is that accurate? He choked on the word accurate. We would argue emotional factors. Victor slid the HR file forward like a final card in a poker game. We have official documents from her company, including a letter mentioning serious policy violations during a company event. Natalie didn't even blink. Denial was long gone. This wasn't the arena for excuses anymore. This was the autopsy. The judge flipped through the documents, nodded slowly, and moved to the financial exhibits. Our accountant had drawn the lines in black ink. Home equity, 92% funded by me. Retirement accounts, mine, start to finish. Car, my name on every payment. Joint savings, mostly withdrawals for spa weekends and business upgrades. Her lawyer tried a last-second pivot. She contributed emotional labor to the marriage. The judge didn't even glance up. This isn't therapy. It's asset division. And the record shows a clear financial disparity. Then came the sentence, surgical and final. The respondent's conduct contributed directly to the dissolution. The petitioner's request is granted in full. Natalie blinked. That was it. No dramatic gavel strike. Just a nod, papers shuffling, and the cold arithmetic of reality. I keep the house. The car stays mine. 70% of all remaining assets in my name. No alimony. Not a dime. Her lawyer leaned in, whispered something desperate. She didn't move. Her hands stayed folded, frozen. Like maybe if she didn't breathe, none of this would be real. But it was. And every set of eyes in that courtroom, the clerk, the bailiff, even the kid running the copier, knew it. Natalie didn't just lose a husband. She lost the myth that she was untouchable. Turns out, she'd never been holding the wheel at all. Later that night, she sat hunched over the kitchen counter, refreshing her inbox like a gambler yanking a slot machine lever for the 100th time. Refresh. Nothing. Refresh. Spam. Refresh. Empty again. And that's how empires crumble. One silent click at a time. There it was. Subject line, regarding your return. Sender, Stephen L. Barrett, CEO. Her finger hovered over the trackpad, frozen. For a second, she didn't click. Maybe some stubborn part of her still believed this was a welcome back note. Maybe a gentle let's talk, or even a soft landing, a demotion, a chance to disappear quietly with a shred of dignity. But hope? It dies quick when it's fake. She clicked. Natalie, after a thorough internal review, and given the public nature of your conduct during the Dallas conference, including online statements and corroborated witness accounts, it is the decision of our executive leadership and HR division that your continued employment represents a reputational risk to the company. Effective immediately, your position is deemed no longer tenable. We appreciate your past contributions and wish you the best. Stephen L. Barrett, CEO. No signature. No apology. No next steps. Just corporate execution, clean and bloodless, typed in 11-point calibri. Her hand shook as she reread it. Then again, her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Just a low, broken sound crawling up her throat until it snapped loose. She screamed. Not a cry, not a sob. A raw, primal howl that ripped through the hallway and slammed off the walls like a trapped animal. I didn't flinch. I was in the den, heard every decibel. But all I did was close my laptop, slow and easy, set it on the table, and take a deep breath. Then I stood, grabbed my gardening gloves from the hook, and walked out the back door into the sunlight. The air hung still. The roses had bloomed early this year. The grass felt soft under my boots. And for the first time in a very, very long time, the world was quiet. Not empty, not hollow, just peace. A peace she'd never understand.